Hi everyone, Officer Potak,
Hi, it's Officer Best.
and we are here at Scheckler Elementary in the library.
Right.
So behind us, we got Tigger,
And up here, Cat in the Hat.
a couple friends with us today, and we will be reading the book Caps for Sale. And this was a book that I used to read when I was younger. Obviously this is a newer version of it, but it's still the same book.
Actually, I used to read that book when I was little. And that's a lot longer than when Officer Potak was little.
True. Did you have hair then?
Yes, I did.
Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First he had his own checkered cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. And he was a very steady walker to keep all those caps on top. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight as to not upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said, and he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," he thought. And he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk as to not disturb the caps on his head. Then he put his hand to feel if they were straight. First he checked his own checkered cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top.
How did he reach so far up? I can only reach that high. How could he reach? Look at, I can't even reach up to those.
Maybe he was part Gumby.
Now
Or
I
Stretch
know.
Armstrong.
Right, who's Gumby? Who's Stretch Armstrong? If you know, post it.
They were all there, so he went to sleep, and he slept for a long time.
Of course he did. Tell me, Officer Potak, what is it like to sleep for a long time?
I don't get long sleeps. I do sleep though, just not long, unfortunately. And I don't take naps. I wish I could. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were still in the right place. All he felt was his own checkered cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked to the back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. Of course the monkeys did it.
I'm telling you. Monkeys are they are very, very precocious animals.
The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them, as if they understand.
They're monkeys in a book. Of course they're going to understand.
"You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back and said, "Tis, tis, tis."
No, 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 no.
This made the peddler angry, so he shook both of his hands at them. "You monkeys, you! Give me back my caps!" But the monkeys only shook their hands back at him and said, "Tisk, tisk, tisk."
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I got my animation partner over here. I love it. Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you! You better give me back my caps!" But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said,
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you! Give me back my caps!" But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said,
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Wonder how he's going to get his caps back. At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away.
An idea.
He needs a plan.
I think he just came up with one. Let's see what happens.
But then, each monkey pulled off his cap.
And what do you think the monkey did?
I think the monkeys are playing copy monkey, not copycat. And all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checkered cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and then the red caps on the very top. This guy should work at like the boardwalk.
I'm
Be
telling
able to
you.
get these caps on his head like that.
See?
And slowly, slowly he walked back to town calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" And that is the book, Caps for Sale.
That was a great book.
I like that book. So now we know monkeys are also copycats. So
Monkeys are very mischievous.
Oh, they are. And I think I was on a cruise once and we stopped and there were monkeys. And they're like, "Oh, they'll come over to you, but if they take your items, don't go back after them." And the lady next to me had sunglasses on her head, and sure enough, this little monkey came over, jumped on her shoulder, and stole her sunglasses and went up into the trees. She did not get them back. The monkey kept them. So when you're around monkeys, just be cautious. They are mischievous little guys and girls. So that is our book today. And again, we're here at Sheckler Library, and that is one of Sheckler's books. So if you're interested in reading it, when you get back to school, you can come and read it, and you can sit on these big comfy chairs when you do it.
That's right. That was a good book.
Yes, it was.
That was written back way before I was born.
Correct.
So.
And it's still being produced.
It's still being published. So yeah, come read it. It's a fun book.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today here at Sheckler Library. Get out, chalk your walk, look for Flat Pat.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned and keep watching Officer Potak and I, because we're not going anywhere. We're planning on going to keep on reading as much as we can, as long as we can, even when school starts back up. In fact, we came up with an idea, and tell me what you think of it. We're thinking about coming into school when school starts and coming into the libraries in person and reading some books, and maybe posting that on Facebook as well. So if you think that's a good idea, let us know.
Absolutely.
Stay well, stay safe,
And wash your hands.
Bye.
Bye.